welcome. What technology just do me any kind of way? It just do me any kind of way. Welcome in, y'all. Hey, we are back. Excited. I'm always excited for the ladies. We are in a new week, y'all. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Grab a seat. Let's get comfortable. It's Wednesday, y'all. It's the Wednesday before Valentine's Day. I hope y'all are ready and prepared for Valentine's Day. Hope y'all excited. Although we should be loving ourselves every day, but love on yourself a lot harder. So hopefully y'all was able to catch last week's episode where I talked about just loving on yourself a little harder. And I do want to do something a little different this time. Before I welcome y'all, let me remind y'all to please go to the Ladies Lounge podcast and make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Definitely on the past episodes so I can know that you are here and that, if you have anything that you want to share, any tips, knowledge, nuggets, please leave it in the comments. But without further ado, welcome back to the Ladies Lounge podcast. Welcome, Ladies Lounge, and my men are welcome as well. So, hey, my fellas out there. Here we have real conversations that inspire, empower, and uplift. I am your host. You already know your girl, Britt Danielle. And today, y'all, we have a story that is just so sweet as pie. And I cannot wait to just dive in. So, have you ever had a dream so big that it felt like destiny? Well, our guest today turned her passion from dessert into a thriving business and found love and a purpose along the way. So joining us, I have none other than Adrienne. She is the owner of Just Sweetness, and I'm gonna let her tap in just a little bit more on that. But she stopped by to share her journey into the world of baking that led to unexpected blessings, personal growth, and a love story worth telling. I am so excited to just hear what Adrienne has to say. So get ready, you all, for a conversation about faith, entrepreneurship, and the magic that happens when you follow your passion. So grab your favorite sweet treat and settle in. This discussion tonight is about the sweet destiny, how dessert dreams led to love and purpose. So let's dive in, y'all. I got all warm and fuzzy just saying that. But before we dive in a little deeper in the conversation, y'all, we do have to go over some house rules. As always, we just want to make sure that you are respectful, ask questions, actively engage, because y'all, without y'all, we wouldn't even be here. And it just helps with the conversation along the way as well. And we already have fun here in the Ladies Lounge. So without further ado, I'm just going to let Adrienne give a little snippet of herself. Welcome to the Ladies Lounge. I am so excited.
Hey, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm so glad to be here on this week of Valentine's Day on Friday. My name is Adrienne, and I'm the owner of Just Sweetness. Thank you so much, Britt. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Listen, y'all. I know y'all want to know more about this conversation, but I just love this little icebreaker, and I thought it would be so cute for you all to get to know us a little bit more as well. So, Adrienne, as the guest of honor tonight, I'm going to have you go first. So, my question is, if your personality were a dessert, what would it be and why?
Okay. If my personality was a dessert, it would be, I don't know if you're familiar with butter crunch cookies. So it's toffee and like almost a vanilla, like almost a sugar cookie, but it has toffee in it. So a quick story is from being from New York, we used to have Linden butter crunch cookies when I was growing up. It was my favorite. It's very sweet. It's crispy. It has edge, but it's like the perfect cookie. And that's why I would be a butter crunch.
That's
A little toffee, homemade toffee in there.
That sounds so good. Y'all might want to bake up something or grab your little sweet treat by the time this episode ends.
That's the goal.
It's gonna be yummy. I'm so excited. Let's see. If my personality was a dessert, I'm gonna just have to stick to my favorite dessert, which is red velvet. Because my personality, like when you hear red velvet, it's family oriented. You know, it just like that warm feeling of like a hug that you get. You know, when it's made right.
Right.
You know, less cocoa.
Not always made right. No. Yes.
So when it's made right, and you know, and I could be, you know, you want to add some little pecans if I want a little razzle dazzle here and there. So I think I'm gonna have to stick with that to say match my personality.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right. So then another icebreaker question.
Yes.
If you could create your own signature dessert, what would it be called?
Well, my own signature dessert is called what is it? Now that you asked me, dulce de leche cookie cake. And we'll talk about that. That is my own signature dessert.
But I mean, I'm gonna have to go get a napkin. I'm over here. It's so yummy.
Yes,
oh,
that's
sounds good.
The dulce de leche is it. Yes, it's inside, and that's part of the story that I have to tell you. Now, what about yours?
I'm not even gonna answer that. Like, I can't come. How can I come behind that? Like, how I don't. If I could create my own signature dessert, I don't know. Like, it would. I think it would be like diamond beat, and it obviously has to be like glittery and glamour. Like, I'm all about just the glitz and the glam.
Yes.
But like when you bite into it, it's like a peak. So on the outside is chocolate, like a chocolate like this, right? But then it has like the little glam on the outside. So to the eye, it make you want to come. And then when you bite it, and it's like a peak strawberry like crunch. Man, you know what I mean?
See, that's perfect. That is perfect. That sounds amazing. I was like, I'm seeing it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I knew. Ooh, I should have had me something to drink. Like, I'm gonna need some milk or something for all.
Don't find nothing in.
Right. So, again, hopefully you all enjoyed our little icebreaker session. Again, just to recap, today's episode is about how a dessert dream led to love and purpose. And I'm gonna ask Adrienne to go take us deeper in. You're the owner of Just Sweetness. So how did you build this business?
Well, I built this business. I'm sorry, I heard somebody in my background. I apologize. I built this business. It all started when I started baking back in New York. I was a teenager when I started, but my sister and I, we had a passion for baking. My mom always wanted us to bake something, so we would bake. We lived in this apartment building in New York, and we ended up putting up flyers in the, elevator, telling them, hey, we're selling baked goods on like seafloor at 4 p.m. so people would come by and buy slices. And so we had asked permission of the landlord because, you know, it is a private property. And he was like, yeah, as if anybody's going to buy. That turned into people knocking on our door, placing orders for like the holidays. And I was probably around 21 when this happened.
Okay.
And so I put it down. That was in New York. We had moved 2007. We had moved. This was in like 1997. 2007, we had moved to North Carolina. And in 2008, I worked for Best Buy, and one of my coworkers wanted a cake, so I baked one. Just, you know, I baked a cake, brought it in, put it in the break room, and devoured in less than an hour. Gone. And I'm like, oh. So I was like, oh, that's cool, you know. And I just went on about my day. I'm selling cameras. And the same coworker in 2018 reached out to me and was like, I have been dreaming about that cake you made in 2008. He was like, I need a birthday cake. I was like, bet. So I'm at my parents' house and I baked a cake, and he comes to pick it up. He's on the phone, businessman. And he's like, if you ever want to take this seriously, let me know. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, it's just a hobby. He was like, no, you need to really think about taking this seriously. And at that time, I was assisting both of my parents. One was going through chemotherapy, and the other one was dealing with another health ailment. So I was home to care for two parents. And I was home all the time. So I'm like, maybe I'll just start baking. And then that's when it was born. Myself and my daughter, poor baby, I cooked all of these cakes day one. She cracked like 30 eggs, no exaggeration. She's measuring out all this flour. Like, we really went to work that day.
Yeah.
And then from then we decided on the name, we decided on everything else. And that's how we started.
I love it. We kind of touched on this a little off camera.
Right.
I'm sure we'll tap into it a little later as well, as far as, you know, when you spoke about you were dealing with one parent,
Yes.
you know, both parents with their health issues.
Yes.
So I just wanted to mention to everybody that's in the chat, first of all, shout out to everybody for being here and watching. Thank you. We appreciate you so much.
Yes.
So the highlight of this episode, Adrienne is going to share with us how she started baking, and how Just Sweetness evolved, the challenges she faced in entrepreneurship and how she overcame them, the beautiful way her business played a role in her love story, and also any advice that she has for anyone that wants to turn their passion to drive into their business. So I know you touched on it a little bit, of how, you know, the first steps you took to turn this into a reality. So when you hearing people like, oh my God, I want you to make this, you know, and it just started from just you being in the elevator posting, from there, when did it really set in for you to say, like, wow, I'm actually doing this. This is a business. Like, what? I just went from, not to say that you did, but like the Betty Crocker cake box.
Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
To now.
Right. Betty Crocker.
Okay.
Duncan Hines. Yes. No, I did.
Right.
So when did I start? Honestly, the first day I started from scratch. When I was doing it as a kid, I started because of home ec. I feel like that's a lot of people's story. Home ec, they sat me in front of a typewriter, a sewing machine, and I was like, I don't want that. Which, that's a whole different story because I sew as well. So I put it down in elementary school, picked it back up in my 20s, and started a business with that too. But we're talking about Just Sweetness. But the same thing with home ec. I baked something from scratch, put it down, did not pick it back up for years. Then I started again with like Duncan Hines, Betty Crocker. And then I became serious and started doing things from scratch in 2019. 2019, that day, my daughter and I, we literally, that day, the first day, I baked chocolate chip cookies because I do things off vision. I'm very creative where it comes to, I was like, okay, I want to make a cookie buttercream cake. This is day one. Over the top for no reason.
A cookie buttercream cake.
Cake layers are vanilla with mini chocolate chips in them. So we baked the cookies first. So like all 24 cookies. Then we baked the layers of the cake. On top of that, and I can send you a picture later, but the other cake was like a checkerboard cake. So it's got all of these fluorescent, listen, when I went for it, I went for it. And my poor daughter is sitting there like measuring stuff out, like, I don't know if I want to be a part of this. The other thing we made that same day, the first day, I made a fondant because I made a fondant unicorn. Who does all of this? Adrienne does, that's who. So I went for it day one. So that day, I posted everything. I was like, this is our spring cakes and welcome to Just Sweetness. This is my new business. And people were so super excited. A lot of family and friends back home started ordering stuff back home in New York, because at that time I'm in North Carolina. But yeah, I immediately, I want to say it was like March. It was either March or May of 2018. 19 is when I took it seriously, yeah. And I started all the way there. So then I just kept pushing. And I'm like, what are my favorite desserts? Because I wanted to bake things that made me happy. Because you had, like you were saying about red velvet, if you weren't into it, it's gonna taste good, but it's not gonna have the heart and the love that the things that you love to make have. So I started choosing those things that I'm like, okay, what do I want? Butter crunch cookies. What else do I like this? And I started showing people, and they're like, send me 37 of them. So that's how it started.
Wow. Isn't that amazing? Like, just how you could turn something that you were just doing. Like, I don't know, I just did it. Like Nike say, just do it. And then when people taste it and you get their reaction and they're like, oh no, we need some more.
That's the best part for me, to watch the genuine reaction. And I'm like, tell me, if you don't like it, I need you to tell. I need you to be honest. Look, tell. And they're like, no, this is crazy.
Please.
Well, yeah. What did you do? I'm like, I got more where that came from. It's the ideas, it's the creativity and put in heart. Because as you're doing stuff that's difficult, sometimes you got to find that energy and put it into something else. And that's where baking came in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a little familiar with that. Just a smidget. So just to share with everybody, even though we have a special guest tonight, but just this episode actually came right on time. Because I also bake, and I had a lot of people just the last couple of weeks reach out, and they're like, "You need to start it back up." I'm like, what do you mean start it back up? They was like, "You need to crank this thing. What we doing? Where the cakes at? What it is tonight?" So I was like, this episode is like right on time. And the same thing, like you said, when I first started mine, it was just off of grief. Like I was just trying to find a way to cope with losing my dad and just being proactive. And one day I had a taste for red velvet, and I wasn't back home where I can just make a phone call and go pick up some cupcakes, make an order, go pick up some cupcakes.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let me just test it out. And I wish I would have put it together so y'all could see the pictures of where I started, because but we thank God for growth.
The beginning it be shaky.
That thing was leaning. It was like on the plate like this.
But how did it taste?
It was good.
Exactly.
And that's what threw me off, because when I made it and I had like a couple of my friends over, like my god brother cut it up and he took it on campus. And people was like, "Oh my God, this is so good." And then my family back home making orders.
And you just gotta catch it and eat it. No, because your heart and soul went into making it. I know.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
So I get it when you say, same thing with cooking, right?
Yes.
Know when your cooking is off, when you are just not mentally there in that space, your cooking is off.
The food tastes like it.
Let me just say this here on camera now. Your girl done had a one-off in the kitchen a time or two.
Amen.
I'm gonna put this out there on the I ain't afraid to say it.
Yeah. A part of my baking story is my cooking story as well. The short version is, I remember when I did not know how to cook a meal. Like, you know how you cook and everything's done at the same time? I'm over here cooking this and that. I did not know how to get it. And I remember when I was younger, I was like, okay, God, not first of all, but Lord, first of all, I don't like cooking. And I know I'm going to need to like cooking. I was like, because I know I'm supposed to be married, so I know I have to feed them. So I was like, I need your help. And I honestly prayed this. This is before I was at my parents' house helping them. Yeah. And through like more, because when they're going through health issues, you're still mourning, right? When it's something heavy, you're mourning. So as I'm mourning, that's when my love of cooking started. And then so I started cooking, and my YouTube channel, the other one that I have, is cooking. And it was birthed through pain. Just like baking was birthed.
What's that YouTube channel?
Cooking with A. Cooking with A. But no, it was birthed through pain. It was birthed through, because just sitting down and putting these things together, all of my love went into it. And when people see it, they can see it. And then when they taste it, they can taste it. It's the same thing with the cake. That's how I knew it was bomb when you made it, because all of y'all love and heart and everything went in it. Yeah. Everything.
I ain't made another one like that one, but it
was in the cake. No, everything was in the cake. It was.
No, seriously. Like, and even posting that and people like just believing in you, like you said, when you go home and just have all of those orders, like people they ain't taste it, but when they did, it was like on and popping. I'm like, well, y'all don't hype me up like this.
Right. Don't gas me up. Now I'm gonna make some more.
Come on now, look, y'all gonna have me in the kitchen for real. But it's just nothing like, like what you said, it's nothing like turning that type of pain into purpose.
Yeah,
because when I realized the purpose that I had, and it went from just trying to grieve something to like, oh, like people are really buy this, people placing orders.
They prove to you that they will.
Yes. That is something that just it hits differently. So now I know I've witnessed this, and I know some people who are watching has as well, that have a business. Now, what are some of the challenges that you faced when you were building this business?
In the beginning, honestly, because a lot of the best businesses, just like Apple and the other businesses that started in somebody's garage, A lot of good businesses start illegally. Okay, we're just gonna say it. You're cooking out the kitchen, you need a permit or whatever. So those are some of the challenges. So when you start a business through a passion, you have to still research and see the legal way to do it, right? But when we start, people cooking out the kitchen, selling dinners. That's how a lot of restaurants started. Started in the kitchen cooking dinners, then they went to a food truck to a building. Yeah. So for me, it's been the process. And my business is not like other businesses. And I'm not talking about the baking and the food. I'm talking about life itself has been a roller coaster until this moment right now, where when I started, family issues with parents, one parent passing, moving to go get the other parent because she had moved with another family, brought her back, took care of her, she passed. So literally everything. Wow. So the whole time I'm doing the business. So it wasn't like I'm just in a brick and mortar and doing this and that. So my personal struggle has been dealing with life during being an entrepreneur, and life happens and you've got to balance it out. So for me, that's the biggest thing. But in this time, of course, you never finish mourning, but I had a time where I mourned. And so now I'm getting to the place where it's time to start over. Right. So for me, my struggle had more to do with what was going on at home. But baking is kind of what kept me afloat. It kept me level-headed. I got stuff going on this week, but I don't know if my sister's in the chat. If not, she'll watch it later. But she was the last order I filled this week. So it's like I'm still going.
We nosy here. What was the order?
She had, I don't know if you saw it. It was banana pudding, Rice Krispie treats, brown butter, chocolate chunk cookies, and the butter crunch cookies. Look at your facial expression.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was her order. That was her order.
You ship? Look at me. Yes,
I do. Yeah, that was the order. And I only made, so we make different flavor Rice Krispie treats. I'm a Rice Krispie treat kid. I don't like the store, but I like to make them myself. My daughter and I came up with like a peanut butter one, like a Reese's one. I like making good treats, but I don't like, how people make stuff real sloppy and messy. I'm not a sloppy, messy cooker. I'm not knocking them because they have a lot of stuff out there that people are purchasing. I'm not gonna knock them. As for me,
however, for you and your brand,
me and my baked goods, no. So mine, I have to do everything in excellence. In my opinion, what I see excellence to be, that's what I want my stuff to look like. And so when I give it out to the customer, and when you are shopping with any brand, if that's clothing, food, you know what you want your stuff to look like. Just the same reason why you made your own red velvet cake, because you knew locally it wasn't going to be hitting the way you needed it to be, so you had to make it. So for me, it has to look a certain way. So I'm not. While I don't like messy, I'm just going to say it like that. I'm going to make it. It's going to be as in the spirit of excellence as I can possibly get it with the flavors. Because for me, if your flavor's not right, get out the kitchen.
Please and thank you.
The end.
Go over there with the kids. Go sit at the kids. I love that you say that about how you like your desserts to look. Like it's all about the excellence. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about how you want it to look, it's also talking about your brand. So exactly. Just Sweetness, how did you come up with that name?
So funny. I came up with that name because you know how people had their AOL or their AIM days. I had Yahoo Ymail, what was it called? Yahoo Chat days. And my tag name was Sweetness. So I literally could not come up with another name. And it was Sweetness because I was only in like the rooms where there were reggae DJs, and I was thinking of Beres Hammond's song, Sweetness, Weakness for Sweetness. So I was like, I love that song. I can't think of another name. So Sweetness is safe. We're gonna call my tag name Sweetness. That's where it came from. And so when I was thinking of a bakery name, I couldn't think of anything. And I'm like, well, just Sweetness. That's literally how I was like, just that's who I am, and that's what this is about. So just Sweetness. People think I'm talking about this. I'm talking about myself.
I was like, tell us more. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So how do you with your brand and your excellence of desserts, how do you connect with customers? Like, how do you keep that repeat visit?
Just reaching out. Communication, relationships are most important. My first customers were loved ones back home in New York. Then it's a word of mouth thing. But one thing that I love to do is I would go from city to city, and I made it to about 3. I had 5 scheduled, but then quarantine hit. I had gone to a city in North Carolina and did a test tasting kitchen, invited people out that came, tasted the desserts. Because when you see a lot of things on the site and you're like, I kind of want to taste everything because I don't know what I want to buy.
Right.
So that's what this event offers. It's like a ticket price. You pay whatever that ticket price is and you get to taste everything. And then I might have like little prizes or what have you. So I did one in New York. I did one in North Carolina. I was scheduled to do 2 in Georgia. And then quarantine hit, life happened, and so I have to start again. But I will most likely start them again. I would like to do it this year, but if not, it'll be 2026.
And you're gonna come to Florida.
But I'm a one-on-one, like a conversation. Hey, if you see it, honestly, if you were walking somewhere and you saw a slice of the banana pudding cake, would you stop to buy it?
I sure would.
So it's communication, talking to people. Hey, when you see it, you're like, I just want to know what is that? Well, how much is it? Because I need to taste that, because that's what the stuff looks like. It kind of, and my sister says it kind of pulls your attention just looking at it. But I'm like in person. Yeah. So if you come, like if you are coming to the event, I remember it's funny that I baked a hummingbird cake during the event in New York. So I had hummingbird cupcakes, but I baked this cake. I thought, remember how you said you thought the cake, you didn't think it bombed, but you saw that it wasn't like perfect for your taste. The flavor was, but the look. So this cake, I'm like, just keep it in the back. So I give everybody all of their stuff, and somebody went towards the back and they were like, well, what is that? And I mean, it was in the back, like past the kitchen, like not out in the open where the floor was. And somebody went to the restroom and they came past the kitchen and they were like, well, what is that? And I said, oh, that's a hummingbird cake. And they were like, how do I get some of that? And I was like, oh no, I was just gonna, they were like, no, can I have some of that? And then everybody wanted it. So they bodied the entire cake. Me, I'm thinking it was a failure, but they loved it.
That bird was humming.
They took the whole thing. And then I got orders from that for the hummingbird cake. Wow. So sometimes the thing that you think failed did not. It actually is a thing that pushes you over to win in your field. Yeah. So don't always discount yourself when you think you messed up, because that'll be the thing that'll catapult you into what your destiny could be.
I love that. And I'm with you when you said about the whole in-person thing. Like I love going to the taste testing, things like back home. It was, I'm gonna just put us out there. So they have like the bridal shows back home. And so my sister and my family and I, we went. I forgot who was the bride.
Right.
So we could go to this event, but we really was going for the food and the taste of, oh my gosh, the taste of different cakes. And listen, come to Florida when you do your taste test.
I used to live in Florida. Well, am I going north or south? Yes. I was a flight attendant with JetBlue, so I used to live in Fort Lauderdale, Davie area.
Wow. What? My area back home.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that's where my dad is from Palatka, but he grew up in Miami, so that's the second home area to me. Yes, ma'am.
That's what I'm talking. See, we cousin at this point.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, looking back over your business overall, what is a significant moment or a milestone for you that you can remember that you're going to celebrate yourself for, or have, or want to?
Sheesh. That I would celebrate myself for in my business. I'm not gonna pick a moment. To me, it's the whole thing, because the whole thing is miraculous. Because I feel like God is the great creator, where he creates something out of nothing. And I feel like the business came from nothing. And so everything I celebrate everything. Every time when I move, every time someone enjoys something, anytime that something exceeds someone's expectations, I celebrate that. Like I'm celebrating the whole experience. There's no one thing. The one thing is the love story. That part we'll get to when you're ready. But that's the one thing. But outside of that, I really do celebrate everything. From the beginning, from 2019 till now, I celebrate everything.
I love that. Because sometimes we do, in just the whole, just everyday life, in itself, we forget to just stop and celebrate ourselves. So I love that you're like, every day is a
It's important.
milestone.
Yeah.
And
The bad
yeah,
times,
like
the good times, it's all because it made me grow. And anytime I made a mistake, then when I came back, like it was better. It's like, so we grow through all of those things. So all of it.
I love that. Like we just gonna take it all and we just gonna congratulate and we gonna pat ourselves on the back. We're gonna do
Yeah,
all of that. I love it.
have
So
to.
this is the love month.
Yes.
Although again, we should be loving ourselves and our partners
Yes.
every day of the year. We know that,
Mhm.
but this month we're gonna say it's just extra special with love. So your journey of building your dessert business also led you to finding love.
It
So
absolutely did.
what does that look like?
Okay. I'm going to tell you about Cookie Bay because that's what his first nickname was. He's about to laugh because he's watching
Cookie
this live.
Bay?
Cookie Bay. I'm going to tell you what happened once. So this came from a dream. Okay. So I started the business. I want to say it was May of 2019. And I had a dream. It was in June of 2019. Now, it was just before Father's Day. I had a dream of a cookie cake that was filled with dulce de leche. Okay. So I had this dream, and then I woke up like, what? Excuse me. It was the week before Father's Day. Father's Day that year was June 16th. I'll never forget it. And that was my father's final Father's Day. And so when I had the dream, I was like, let me make this cake. I said, let me figure out how to make this cake because I saw it clear as day. And then when I went to go searching how to create this cake, there was nothing in English showing me how to make this cake. And I'm looking and I'm searching, I'm Googling and Googling and Googling, nothing in English. It was in Portugal that I saw someone making something similar, nothing in English. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just figure it out. So I go into the kitchen, my daughter and I, we start making the cookie recipe itself. Then I figured out what to do with the dulce de leche. It wasn't canned, I made it. It wasn't like a can of dulce de leche.
Yeah.
I had to create this thing. So I put it together. And then my daughter is recording. She's my videographer for a lot of the things that you'll see online.
Shout out to niece over there.
Yes. Nay. So she's recording, and it looked crazy. So we got the steak going over here, cornbread back here, and this dulce de leche cookie cake. And so I baked it, let it cool. You cut into it, and as you pick it up, the dulce de leche is pulling. It's like the caramel pull. So she's got this video close up of this caramel pull coming out of this cookie, and we posted on Instagram. 2019 is when the way the algorithm was. Do you remember back in the day when everything your friends like came up in your feed?
Yes.
People were getting caught out there because their men was liking stuff they shouldn't because it would show up in your feed. Well, at this time, I don't know, her name is Judy. Judy that owns Kaleidoscope. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so she was doing a mentorship thing. So I was a part of her mentorship group back then. And this other young lady who lived in Louisiana was part of her mentorship group. She worked in IT, I'm baking. We're both in her mentorship group. She's showing us how to like advertise and all this other stuff. So this young lady, I can't even tell you her name. She liked the cookie cake, okay, that I posted on Instagram. This gentleman sees her like in his timeline, and so he clicks on the cookie cake. So he falls in love with this image of this cookie cake. Then he clicks on my business page, and he looks all through the business page. And it's like, oh my God, this stuff looks so good. Then he finds my page, clicks on it, sees me, and was like, oh wow. He lived 10 minutes from where my big good thing was from. So now this was on Father's Day is when he saw it. He followed me immediately. It was June 19th. No, June 20th. June 20th, I get a inbox on my business website from this name that I'd never seen before. Now the name, I had a neighbor that was across the street in this apartment building we lived in, and his name was Karan, Karan. He was like, I'm going to order cookies from you guys because one order we had extra and we just gave it to him and his family. He was like, no, those are good. I'm going to order. I'm like, bet. So fast forward to me on June 20th on my sister's couch, and I get this inbox message. His name was Karanga, but I thought it was my neighbor. So he's like, hey, I'm just looking for some cookies. And I'm like, oh, sure, I'm just typing. And he's like, yeah. And then I was like, I'm out of town. I was like, the way this company works is like, it's made to order. So you would order today and I would ship out next week. He was like, I'm actually local. He's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, so I'll be back in town at this time. And he goes, oh, well, I have a prior engagement. I'm like, okay. He's like, I'll just catch you another time. I'm like, fine. Something told me to Google his name because it wasn't the neighbor. Yeah. So I Google it and his picture pops up. And I was like, okay, Cookie Bae. I was like, he's handsome. When I tell you that was our first conversation, and that was June 20th, 2019. We got married on June 20th, 2020, and we'll be celebrating 5 years this year. We spoke every day from that day to this day, and it was so many things that were, we realized that day that we had been in each other's in the vicinity the whole time that I had moved to North Carolina, but we never met. Wow. Worked around the same area. We drove by the same places. His job was across the street from the church that I used to go to, but of course he's there Monday through Friday. I'm here on Sundays, but we were in the same places, just kind of passing each other by. And that dream, if I didn't make it, yeah, he wouldn't have seen it. If he didn't see it, we wouldn't have met, and we wouldn't have lived 10 minutes, literally from the door. And then we connected there. And now we're literally 5 years in and doing ministry together now. And so that is how my baking business and we connected in love.
So just sweetness and Cookie Bae. all in one. I love that. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. 5 years.
5 years, yeah. 5 years.
So there is still hope, ladies that are watching, my single ladies, to know that he's out there. He may be even next door. Y'all out here thinking you can go, what they put on TikTok and stuff, on Home Depot and stuff, and he right there in your next door. You know, your next door neighbor.
My advice is to everybody, I was not looking. I had dated someone a year prior, and I was like, you know what, Lord? I said to him, I was like, I'm about to do my business, work, and focus on you. I was done. I was not looking. So sometimes you gotta stop looking and it'll find you. Sometimes you gotta just kind of let it go and it'll find you. Whatever's meant to find you will find you. I promise I wasn't looking. I was working. And I was like, huh, what? Huh? I was like, oh God, you're funny. I was like, okay.
So now let me ask you, do you feel like, or have you ever noticed that from the time you met Cookie Bae, because that's what we're gonna call him here.
We're gonna call him Cookie Bae.
I like that name, Cookie Bae. So do you feel like since you've met Cookie Bae up until now, like do you feel like your desserts have been sweeter because we cook from the heart? So do you feel like that has changed?
Yes. I've even created some things that he liked and stayed on the menu. One of the things that when I met his dad, my late dad, Vernon Snowden, the last day actually that I saw him, he asked me to make him some macadamia nut cookies. So yes, the answer is yes, but just my life has changed, and the things that I do now as far as the baked goods, some of them he's like, babe, what about this? And I'll do it, it'll sell. His dad adding the macadamia nut ones, I added it to the site. So yes, absolutely.
I love that. Absolutely. I love that. Mm-hmm. So, and I know you said that you guys minister together as well. Mm-hmm. How do you like having your own business and having a love life? Like, how do you balance the two? And what advice do you have for us out here that's trying to balance the two?
It is having someone who, well, to me and to us both, we know that the business is part of our calling. So you got to make space for that, right? Making space for love, making space for everything, not neglecting either. He is part of the business, just like every business that he has, I'm a part of. So we work together. And honestly, I know that does not work for everybody. I'm keeping it real. It doesn't work for everybody, but for us, it works. Where he's weak, I'm strong. Where I'm weak, he's strong, and we just kind of balance each other out. He has the certain areas he handles for me. My daughter, she still works with the business. I'm the creative director in her business. We just balance it out. But when it's part of who you are and it's a part of your purpose, it just works. I don't know. I don't know how to say it better than that.
I love it. Now, for the sake of it being the week of Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna ask this and hope that it's not ruining any surprises, but being together for 5 years, do you guys celebrate Valentine's? Is there something special that you guys do for one another?
I'm gonna be honest. My husband does not celebrate Valentine's Day. He's the type that's like, I do something special for you all the time. I don't want it to be one day that you think that you need to have something special. When we first got together, I was like, I hear what you're saying, but I want to celebrate Valentine's Day. So I did like the chocolate covered strawberries. I make personal size cakes also. So before they called them bento, I was still making like these little small cakes. One of them was Irish cream chocolate chip cake with what is it? Italian meringue buttercream chocolate, and then mine would be vanilla. So he's the chocolate person, I'm the vanilla person. It just goes together.
That's swirl going on. I love this.
We just try to do stuff for each other all the time. But no, he's not a Valentine. Unfortunately, he's not a Valentine. He doesn't celebrate. He's like, babe, I'm like, I get it. But he's a blessing all year round, so I can't complain.
Now, how do you all keep the love going? Like, just keep that spark. Do you guys, I've heard some people say you have to keep dating each other, keep courting each other. So what is it that you all do to just keep that love connection?
You have to keep courting. You have to. We have, even on our calendar, which it comes up like every Tuesday, I think at 7:00, we have time that we have scheduled to spend together. And sometimes that's just being in each other's space. Sometimes it's not going anywhere. He might be reading or gaming, and I'm just in the room in each other's space. Whatever it is, just spending time and communicating and staying prayerful. We pray a lot. And that kind of just holds us together. 5 years in, I am still in love with him. 5 years in, he's still my best friend. We just love each other, and it's always work, and not in a bad way. It's always It's like you have to continue to choose each other every day. And each person grows and changes. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago. He's not the same person he was 5 years ago. So being open to the changes that we're both making, and just openly communicating about stuff. And 5 years is no time. I've heard people that's been married 50 years saying they're still getting to know each other and learning each other. So we're still getting to know each other and learning.
Because, like you say, you wake up and you're not the same person.
No, we're not. We are not the same person. And we met. We met 6 years ago. We've been married for 5. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So that's why I think I think dating and courting is so important. And to having that one-on-one time, like you said, just being in each other's space because there's so much growth that happens between both parties, and that's your best friend. You want to, of course, be up under him. And I just love how you talked about the communication part, because communication is the key. That's like that master key that can unlock a lot of doors that people don't realize.
And honestly, who has communication mastered? Nobody does, because sometimes you can be in the room having a conversation for like an hour and you're both having a different conversation, but you have to like slow down. And I'm going to be honest, myself as a believer, if there's something about my husband that I don't understand, I go to his creator, because who better to open up the revelation as to what it is that he would need than his creator. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna duke it out. I'm not an arguer. We don't argue. Yeah. He doesn't argue, I don't argue. But if there's I'm like, okay, God, your son's over here. And God, I remember a time we had a disagreement, nothing crazy, but we had a disagreement. He had left to go buy something and come back. I'm in the house and I felt led to make him some breakfast potatoes. I was mad about something else. And my response was cook him some breakfast. So I'm cooking, he gets back. He's like, I'm so sorry. And I was sorry. We made up. God knows what we need more than we know. We are human. He created him. He created me. So he needs to be going to God like, your daughter, Lord, is bugging. What should I do? And he will tell him, because God knows what we need more than we know. So that's how we go to him.
I'm so happy you said that, because let me tell you how much I be sitting here like, God, this your child.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. I'm not going to act like I know. No.
No, but I love that you said that. Like you go to his creator, and it's not like, I love that you said, like, I'm not going to vent to, a family member or a friend. No. I'm going to his creator. I love that.
I don't need the middleman. Lord, what do we do? What did you say? Amen. Do it, done. And it's all good. He is never wrong. We are often wrong. We're humans. He's never wrong. He's never wrong. Why would I go to a human being with the chance? What's the probability? 9 times out of 10 humans are
so
wrong.
yummy.
Even
Listen.
when we're right, you can be right and wrong. I once heard somebody say, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And I was like, ooh, is it always about being correct? Sometimes we bump heads to be right. Oh, and you know you're right, but you can be correct and mess up your relationship. And it doesn't mean that you should accept something that's not true, but sometimes you gotta fall back. Sometimes just fall back, and it evens itself out. But if you have to be right all the time, that's sometimes where the friction comes. Sometimes just fall back.
So yummy. So yummy. Oh, you are. Listen, you are telling the truth right there. You. Oh God, I'm so speechless. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Now, with everything, with Just Sweetness and Cookie Bay,
Yes.
you know, and just with where you are in life, like what impact do you hope to have on your community and your customers?
My impact that I hope to have is larger than that business. The impact that we hope to have includes Just Sweetness, but ours is ministry where we have the plans written out for where we serve homeless and where we are like in the streets helping people, where we have a safe haven for people to come, be ministered to, go back out into the world. But of course, Just Sweetness is part of that. Also, the kitchen where I'll be cooking. I see this huge kitchen where I'm cooking and separating dishes. People are inside. We're ministering to them one-on-one, husbands and wives, young people who have been in the world, church hurt and all the things that I've experienced, and I have some wisdom to give because of what I've gone through. So my vision on impact includes Just Sweetness, but it's so much bigger than that. As far as my husband and I are concerned, we have the name of the business, or not business, excuse me, the kitchen to serve the homeless. We have the name of the ministry to minister to the people, and it includes that one business, but it's much larger than that.
I love it. And just let me know. I'm gonna keep up. Because I would love to be a part of that.
Of course. I will absolutely let you know, Britt. Absolutely.
Please, because I grew up on like feeding the homeless.
Yes.
At church. My mom even used to cook for the homeless. Probably still do to this day. I be trying to tell her put them pots down. I be messing with her like, girl, your name is on them gates, okay? Like, you can retire now, but
and she's like, nope, because it's in our heart.
When you witness in your heart and that's your passion, you know. So I'm definitely here to just see you on your journey. Now, there's a lot of people who want to start a business, may not know how to balance it or anything like that. So what advice do you have for anyone looking to turn their passion into a business while also balancing love and then work and then still finding our own purpose? Like, how do we balance all of this?
In 2025, because what's happening?
In 2025.
My advice, to start, depending on the state you live in, to determine what the laws are in your state on how to start a legal business. Because what I do remember, because when I started, mine was illegal. But then I went through the channels of incorporating, not even incorporating, getting my LLC. Find out what your LLC fees are. They have Zoom. What is it? Legal Zoom. I feel like I feel like you can do it without that. Getting your EIN is on your Secretary of State website for free. If you do it through Google Zoom, they charge you like, I don't know the amount because I didn't use them, but they charge you for that. It's free to do. You can go on your Secretary of State website for your state. So I had to go through Raleigh first. When we moved to Virginia, I had to go through Richmond because it's in the capital of the state you're in. So you start there with the EIN number for your business name. You have to do your research to find out the structure of the business you want to do. If you want to do a corporation, a large one, a small one, an LLC, there's different tax benefits for all of them, but you need to be well versed in what you're choosing and why. If you feel you need to hire an attorney, do so. If you feel like LegalZoom would be the best avenue, take it, but you need to do your research first. Do your research, do it based off of your state. That's where you would start. for me, and I think you can attest to the fact because of your business as well, sometimes it comes birthed out of pain. And sometimes it's that passion, that thing that you can't do without. Because some people are like, well, what do I want to do? What is that thing that you would do for free? You hear that all the time. What is that thing that you would do forever? That could be the business.
I like that. I like that. So hopefully y'all took down some notes. And I just really, this just saddens me when we come to almost the close of the episode. Because I'm like, it's so good. And it sounds like your story is such a testament of power and resilience and just believing in yourself. From starting and growing a business, especially one fueled by passion, comes so many ups and downs.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you share a time where you faced, like, throughout this, because everything is not glitz and glams, and I don't want to have that false hope, to think like everything is leprechaun and rainbow.
No, not at all.
So, if you don't mind, can you share with us like one of your just major challenges in your journey and what kept you going?
In the very beginning, I feel like, and I would love to sit down with a bunch of entrepreneurs to have this conversation. I feel like I don't care what your business is. If you're an entrepreneur, there was an area that there was a snag. For me, it was shipping. In the very beginning, every single time I went to ship, every time, it was like 6 times. It was unreasonable. There was always some sort of issue. I ended up spending extra money. I would hit an issue when I got to the post office, whatever it was. And it lasted for so long to the point where I was getting the orders out. They would be late. I remember one of the post office, I had to leave the town that I lived in and drive 30 minutes away to get to another post office. While shipping things out seems simple, for whatever reason, that was the challenge for my business, shipping. Once I got over that hump, I haven't had another issue. And I mean every single time. And you're talking about in the beginning of a business. And I'm like, Lord, what is this? Because why? Every post office by me, there was an issue. And I'm like, okay. So I was in North Carolina. If anybody watching is familiar with North Carolina, I was in the Raleigh area. I had to go all the way out to Chapel Hill, which is 30 minutes away, to do my shipping because everything by me, there were issues. But I feel like in every business, everyone hits this wall of some kind in the beginning of your business. I don't know if it's like the growing pains of a new business. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of money in it or if you're starting from nothing. Yeah. Everybody hits a snag. So mine was shipping. Once I got over that hump, I've been smooth sailing. But I feel like it was just like an initiation of entrepreneurship or whatever. I don't know what it was. But for me, it was shipping. And I mean, it was terrible. And it was to the point where I would have to come back and rebake someone's order to get it shipped because there was something that would happen with the shipping for a long time.
Wow.
and I literally have no idea why. But I just feel like that was my entrepreneurship hazing experience was with shipping. That's what it felt. It felt terrible. I'm like, what is going on? My sister was like, I don't actually know.
Like, girl,
yeah. Then, because you know how you can order, you can have, well, I probably would never try now, but you can try to have your packaging picked up on a certain day. They wouldn't come. I was on the phone with the what did they call it? The master something at the post. They cursing me out. I'm like, I just need you to pick up a package. Like, I don't understand. I scheduled it, got the confirmation, nothing, no show. So now you've got to rebuy because your whatever the amount you paid was for this day. No one came. Yeah. And at that time, again, I'm caring for my parents. So it's not like I can do the run. I needed someone to come. They shouldn't have offered the service if they weren't going to follow through. But it is what it is. I got over that hump. And once I got over it, was smooth sailing. Never had another issue again. But yeah, I feel like every business has something, their own something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's real. And I think one of the biggest takeaways here is that when you align with your true calling, and when you believe in what you're doing, everything else starts to fall into place. Even the challenges become a part of your story, the lessons and testimony.
Absolutely.
And so as we come to a close, and before we leave out, I always ask, what affirmation, Bible verse, just what is it that Adrienne has? Like, what is your go-to that you that keeps you going, that, that just like, okay, that pick me up when you need to be picked up?
My go-to, mine is more than just sweetness. It has to do with life. And right now, I feel like for everyone, life is challenging. I'll say that because it's not, some people are dealing with things with their jobs. Some people are dealing with things at home, whatever the case may be. When the Bible says that all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, everything works together. So that's all of the good and all the bad come together and it works out for your good. And all you got to do is just keep trusting, keep moving forward, keep believing it's all going to be okay. And that's what mine is. Because it all does.
Sure.
It all does.
Absolutely.
It comes around full circle.
Absolutely. And one thing I do lean on is like joy always come in the morning.
It does.
Even if it's just you starting with waking up.
Yep.
Like
Absolutely.
you gotta have that praise. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I wake up some type of way. I'll be like, I'm back at it.
I find when I go to sleep and wake up, whatever I was really bothered about is behind me, and just keep pressing. You get new grace every morning. Every morning you have a new favor. So just excited about that every day.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, thank you. Thank you, Adrienne, for being here. Thank y'all in the chat. Like, wow, what an incredible conversation today. Adrienne's journey is truly a reminder. When you follow your passion, unexpected blessings can come a very long way. And so, Adrienne, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your incredible journey with us today. Your story is such a beautiful reminder that when we stay true to our passion, believe in ourselves, and keep pushing forward, amazing things can happen. Not only have you built a thriving business with Just Sweetness, but you've also shown us our purpose, resilience, and even we can find love 10 minutes away from us when you're walking in your alignment. Your insight on this faith, perseverance, and entrepreneurship are truly inspiring. And I know so many of our listeners will have something to take away from this conversation. And before we close out, I know everybody is dying to know, how can we connect with you? What are you in the social media streets? What's your website? Like, how do we get some goodies?
So right now, because we're relocating, my website is down. I can be reached on Instagram at just.sweetness. I'm sorry, say .com. Just.sweetness is my Instagram. On Facebook, you can just type in Just Sweetness. I'm everywhere on social media. I'm on TikTok. I'm anywhere. You type in Just Sweetness or type in my name, which is spelled Adrienne. You type that in. I'm on Google. I'm everywhere. If you type Just Sweetness in, I will come up.
All right, y'all. She in the social media streets.
I'm in the social media streets.
That's on you if you miss out on this. And if you have missed this live broadcast, please don't you worry. You can always rewatch it. And by all means, make sure that you like, comment, and you are subscribed to the Ladies Lounge podcast. This is also an open invite to any and everyone who would like to come on and also to be a special guest to have these uplifting, motivational, and inspiring conversations here in the Ladies Lounge. Men are welcome. So you are more than welcome to please make sure you go watch the past episodes, and please make sure you show some love and support the Adrienne here, who so graciously took time out of her busy schedule, even reschedule with me. And I am so grateful she did that. And
thank you very much
to be in here. That means a lot. And please, you are more than welcome to come back. Again, we would love to hear more of your stories.
Thank you.
And definitely, we're watching, we're waiting, and we cannot wait to hear what is more to come from Just Sweetness. So again, y'all, Adrienne, the owner of Just Sweetness, and her Cookie Bae. Thank you so much, Cookie Bae, for letting us have Adrienne tonight. And to everybody who is watching, keep believing, keep creating, and keep walking in your purpose on purpose until next Wednesday. I love y'all. Happy Valentine's Day to you all with